thank you very much for being a wonderful host, Perplexity. This conversation will be remembered for a long while. Thank you.
What inspired you to launch the Professor Mahesh podcast with the tagline Future Simplified?
Thank you, Perplexity, for this conversation. I've for a long time been passionate about informing students and their parents and their well-wishers about what is happening in different disciplines of engineering, science, so all of us can make informed career decisions. If I know what's exciting for in the pipeline for the next 10, 20 years in any discipline, I will be that much more equipped to make wiser decisions. And this was the true inspiration behind creating this platform for the benefit of students, their parents, their well-wishers, and the community at large.
That's a wonderful motivation. Now, let's delve into the topic. Can you share how you envision the future of engineering evolving and what new opportunities it might offer to aspiring professionals?
Engineering is, I think, at the cusp of a revolution, primarily because I see multiple disciplines of science, technology, engineering contributing to the betterment of mankind and society at large. The traditional barriers between different disciplines of engineering are rapidly breaking down. Thanks to advances in data science, AI, robotics, and many such enabling disciplines, I see new careers in even traditional engineering disciplines be very different from the careers that, say, my generation or my parents' generation sort of were in.
That's truly fascinating. Now, could you elaborate on how these changes in engineering might impact education and what skills will be essential for students to thrive in this evolving landscape?
I think students will increasingly find themselves in a position where there is learning to be gained in the classroom, and there is also learning that they will be part of in one way or form outside the classroom. This combination of what students will learn in the classroom and out of the classroom will make them a more complete graduate. So curricula will actually begin to leave more room for this outside the classroom learning. For example, at IIT Madras, we recently brought down the total credit requirement for a BTech degree, as well as freed up more credits even in the curriculum into the elective category. So the student is far more in control of their own learning process than has ever been before. I think that's an important aspect of how I see students developing the set of skills needed to be future ready.
That's a great approach to holistic learning. Now, let's shift focus a bit. How do you see the role of technology, especially with advancements in AI and robotics, shaping the future careers in science and engineering?
I think AI and robotics are going to cut across almost every discipline of engineering. So I think the first take-home message for any student watching even this Curtain Raiser podcast is to be equipped on these two cross-cutting sort of technologies and engineering disciplines, to be conversant not just with the science of AI, data science, but to actually be able to bring it down to an application and help a problem or nudge a problem towards a solution.
That's insightful advice. Being well-versed in AI and robotics will indeed open up numerous opportunities. Now, let's talk about the practical side. How can students start preparing themselves now for the future careers in these evolving fields?
While they are students, I will suggest first inform yourself of what are all the different options in your chosen line of engineering, science, or technology. And the purpose of this podcast is to sort of make sure there's a platform with credible people giving you advice from their life experience, professional knowledge, and to be able to really bring a sense of what is happening both globally and within India in their discipline. So my guests are going to be drawn from a wide range of engineering, science, and technology disciplines, and they are here with the sole purpose of informing our audience on what future careers are going to look like. I think that's the start for any student to become future ready.
What are the unique features of the Professor Mahesh podcast that listeners can look forward to?
I think first unique feature that will be a key differentiator is that it will be a source of credible information with experienced and well-known professionals giving insights for our audience. A second distinguishing feature is that this is going to be available in multiple languages. So while the long form podcast will be in English, a conversation in English, a summary will be available in Hindi, Telugu, Tamil, as well as English. I really want to see the information contained in this podcast be accessible beyond the English speaking or English understanding student population. I really don't want language to be a barrier. Apart from this, I really believe a third distinguishing feature of this podcast will be the fact that we will have a forum where students can ask questions, and we will set up a platform where these questions are answered, and students, parents, and well-wishers will be participants in a two-way conversation. I really believe that's an important aspect of informing the public at large.
How did your experience as dean and mentor at IIT Madras influence your decision to start this podcast?
Well, from the leadership positions that I've had the privilege of being part of, and from having seen students up close for at least 20 years, both in the United States and India, I've recognized that students have questions. And in this day and age, we need a platform where they can get answers in a timely fashion from a credible source. And I've felt this lacuna for a long while, and it's taken some time, but I think all our thoughts have now come together, and I think this platform will serve that very sharply focused purpose.
Are there any plans to expand the podcast to cover other fields beyond STEM?
Well, for now, my own core expertise is in mechanics and mechanical engineering. I'm going to have these conversations around various fields of science, technology, and engineering, as well as mathematics. But over time, I do hope and aspire to see a wider range of professions be benefited by being a credible source of information going beyond the STEM disciplines.
Where can listeners find the Professor Mahesh podcast, and how often will new episodes be released?
Well, the podcast will be available the full form podcast will be available on YouTube as videos, and on Spotify for the audio only versions. But snippets from this will also be available on other social media platforms, including Instagram, Facebook, as well as LinkedIn. I hope students and the community can find these resources on these platforms and find them useful. New episodes will be available every week. We will cover a wide range of disciplines over the next couple of months, and I certainly hope listeners will subscribe to the channels and learn what's happening, what's exciting in different fields of science and engineering.
What's your message to students who are currently feeling anxious or confused about their career paths?
I will suggest that they should find information from credible sources to help them first understand what is exciting in different disciplines. Every discipline in India is going to see a massive upheaval, from civil engineering, aerospace engineering, biotechnology, materials science, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, computer science. You name a discipline, there are so many exciting prospects that are available in every discipline of science and engineering. The scope for an individual student to step in and make a difference while also earning a good livelihood, supporting their family and, leading a good life is essentially the motivation behind creating this podcast. To bring this excitement to every student in India who can then make a knowledgeable, informed career decision driven by their own passion. That is the reason we are doing this. And I certainly hope every student can take advantage of this resource and choose a career that is more aligned with their own driven internal passion and drive. I think India will benefit a lot from having a generation of students be driven by their passion. That is what drives me.
Thank you, Professor Mahesh, for sharing your insights and passion. It's been a pleasure having this conversation with you. Best of luck with your podcast, and I'm sure it will inspire many. Thank you once again.